echoes resonate from a place beyond space and time. A place of existence long before our own, long before the gods. A place that never existed, yet always existed. Not the echoes of our loved ones, not the ones that bring us back to feel their presence, nor the echoes that remind us how small we are in an existence both infinitely full, yet infinitely empty. But echoes like the stars that remind us of what once was and is, and their devastating power to bring both life and absolute ruin. Like the memories that bleed our hearts dry, memories that take away everything. Alright, we are live. Sorry about my intro being crappy. Apparently I wanted to play the previous one and not the current one. So that was like 5 minutes of render time. So how is everybody?
Amazing.
Fantastic.
All right.
Doing great.
Incredible.
There's a fucking energy I've been looking for.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just jump right in. Let's just tell everybody who we are in case they haven't been here before.
Well met. I'm Casey, and I'm playing the Ilyahin. Accept no invitations.
Hi, I'm Karl, and I'm playing Kahareth.
Hello, I'm MK, and I'm playing Colias, the super cool bard kid.
And I am Jovar. I am playing Arphef, the non-kid Dwarven War Cleric.
I was waiting for more from that, and it just kind of ended so sporadically. All right. I usually don't go into some sort of diatribe about what happened last time, but I used to play this really fun game on my old campaign where I'd make everybody roll a d20, and whoever rolled the lowest had to say what happened last game. You guys down for that? Yeah? Let's do it. And I'll even play along, just in case. I rolled a 5, so.
11.
15.
I got a 10.
13.
Aw, Jeff, you're our unlucky winner today.
So our previous session saw our adventurers traipsing about the city of Sigil, the cage, in pursuit of some missing individuals, Eliath being key amongst them. We once presumed dead and now discovered to be otherwise. We have discovered that Eliath has had quite the journey in his post-life, if you will. We came across a place called the Sensatorium, where we discovered a memory of Eliath's that I think is still kind of quasi-open to interpretation, a lot left to discover, and the origins or the reasoning behind him leaving that memory there at the Sensatorium remains kind of unknown to us. He was escorted there with somebody whose name we do not know. From there, we ventured to see the Dustman at Mortuary, where we discovered that a very familiarly named Devarius has been in charge of collecting several of the dead that we now believe, or at least one of which we know not to be dead, others of which we have questionable origin as to their current life. We discovered he's overseen part of that process, thus adding to the mystery behind the disappearances in the city of Sigil. That was the key discoveries last session. We were heading back to a place that Arphef is not familiar with, At which point we discovered that we were being followed and approached in the dead of night. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Sounds pretty on point to me. I'm kind of with
Perfect.
you. I know you guys were headed somewhere, but I don't remember where it was at. I think you were headed back
My crib.
to... was it your crib? Okay.
My crib.
I thought maybe you were headed back to Gamareth. I can't remember my own characters' names anymore.
Gedremains?
Yeah, whatever is Gedr or something. Gedramath, I think is his name, but...
I remember telling them to give me a head start, and then they could come over to my crib. And then they did.
Gotcha. Well, as is tradition with games I've been running for this campaign so far, wouldn't mind leading us into yet another echo if you all are down for that.
Please.
So we find ourselves in the wrong music.
Hate when that happens.
I am 2 for 2 tonight. In a massive chamber, it's carrying the echoes of footsteps, the soft sounds reverberating against this immense space. The air is alive with the smell of smoke, and embers rising from a hole punched into the center of the room itself, where the stench of sulfur and brimstone rise and splay against the ceiling, caressing the ancient stone with their inky, sooty fingers. And chains as thick as a giant's thigh dangle into this pit, loop through massive eyelets, and they begin to shift and sway as the hunched figures draw closer near to it. The very stone groans under the pressure, creaking and cracking to the weight of something massive crawling its way up the ember-filled shaft. And a hand both massive and gaunt breaks free from the flames and touches the stone. Its flexing draws a long line of cracks into the heavy rock, its dirty nails sending sparks to life. And then another shaking hand rips free of the prison. The terrible head finally emerges with an equally gaunt face, fleshy and wrinkled, rears itself into view. Its almost skeleton-like jaw yawns open, filling the chamber with an ancient scent of both decay and age. And you see these chains hang loosely at its sides now, their visible terminations ending with almost grapple-like hooks. And these gruesome thorns are piercing the eyelids of this terrible thing. 14 chains in all, one for each side of its 7 eyelids, all together make this terrible mark into this thing's singular eye. And with hurried steps, the figures draw to the edge of the abyss and take hold of the intertwined metal, each grunting, straining, sweating to the force of the task, and the burning air filling their straining lungs. They slowly begin to draw back, and one by one, they heave the terrible eyelids open. The heat in the room building as each open more and more, till the final set finally parts. And a terrible, pussing fluid leaks from this ancient slit, and that singular yellow eye with veins like tree roots pulsing yawns into the multiverse. And all that was flesh and bone heats to a smoldering red, before igniting to its gaze, and finally burns away into nothingness. Our darkness passes into the scene that we left off last time, in a dark alley in the city of Sigil. We all have spotted 6 figures lurching from the darkness. And for the first time, and this will be the 3rd game now, I think it's time to go to our map. So this is what you all see before you. Here's sort of the intersection of these city streets. There's a statue of a god you're not super familiar with, but you know the locals name him Zeus. And there's these twisted, brambled vines that sort of surround the edge and base where this statue is. And from the east, the north, and the south, you see figures slowly stalking from the shadows into the light of the nearby houses. And each of them holds a club. They don't say anything, but sort of stalk into the light and watch you for a moment. What are your reactions?
What direction are we heading in?
You were currently heading eastward. So down the way where these two here are standing.
I would like to take a couple steps back and kind of use the building to my north to make myself a smaller target.
Okay. So you guys are welcome to move your little tokens there a little bit around if you don't want to be in the position that I placed you in to begin with. You should match the ones that were on the overlay before. I suppose I will take control of Aras, who probably is not going to stand in the very front lines.
Yeah, I would take a position near the front. I'm assuming this one's me.
It is.
2 war axes. Is this Kahareth behind me?
That is Colias behind you, I believe.
Colias behind me. Very good.
I'm over there.
Kahareth is pink, like nice dreams.
Oh, perfect. Haha.
Perfect. Excellent.
Then yeah, I would flank the other side.
Okay.
So yeah, if they're just skulking, I mean, do I sense nefarious intent, or are they just out for a nice evening stroll?
The former. They have come from the shadows. Their eyes are locked upon your group. The weapons are at the ready. Best you can tell from the situation, maybe it's some sort of intimidation they're trying to pull upon you.
I cast a spell.
What spell do you cast?
I cast the bonus action spell, Shield of Faith.
Excellent.
And I just step out a little bit further in front. Good evening, friends. Out for a nice evening stroll.
You get no response from them. One's here, and one here. Step a little closer. Kahareth?
Can I scale up the wall in the background as my shadow goes?
Okay. Kahareth, why don't you go and make me a charisma saving throw?
Okay. That is a 22.
Okay. You have succeeded your saving throw. You are standing here trying to, I suppose, diffuse the situation in some way. And you feel your hand begin to go towards your sword, towards your weapon. It starts to shake a little bit as you reach for it. You're not quite sure, but you had some quick impulse there to grab for it.
So I shake it off. And I take another step forward.
Okay.
We don't want any trouble. We're just heading from point A to point B. No reason anyone has to get hurt.
Okay, Kahareth, where you're standing from, you see stalking a little bit to the east behind the two in front of you. Another figure. Looks to be some sort of half-elven man. Very tan skin and these like almost dun-colored robes that sort of sit on his body as he moves from the darkness. And he takes a step forward. Sort of a crooked smile on his face as he looks at you. Just put down your weapons. Come with us. There'll be no trouble.
At this point here in the background, I would have also cast Shield of Faith. Weapon down and low, but ready to move.
Okay.
Say, friend, I don't know if you're new to the City of Doors, but you might recognize this symbol here. As I work for the Harmonium.
Still wearing the poncho.
I doff my poncho. Friends, clearly you didn't realize ahead of time that I represent the law, and if you were to raise your arms against me, you would be in a lot of trouble. Now, the way I see it is nothing's happened yet. There's no reason to get you into trouble. You can just go on your way. No harm, no foul.
I know who you are, Kahareth. And I know the one. He sort of leans off to the right, looking in Arphef's direction. I know your companion here, who's been here for 2, maybe 3 weeks at the most.
Oh, barely. Arphef mutters under his breath.
I'm very well aware of your affiliations, and I do not care.
So you go out just looking for us?
I don't usually try to find the names out of every burk on the streets for no reason.
Well, if someone's paying you, then we can make a deal. There's no reason that we can't come to an agreement where everyone wins. Like, what are they paying you? And let's see. Let me make an offer.
Can I roll to see if Colias would recognize this getup, this formation, this strategy, anything like that?
Sure you could. What kind of roll are we gonna make for this exactly, though? That's the question. For lack of brevity, just go ahead and make me an insight check.
Sure. All right, that is a 10.
A 10?
Mm-hmm.
With your 10. The formation, not so much. But the way that they're dressed, and even from here, you catch a slight scent to them. Scent of death. You're fairly sure that they might be collectors.
Which means if they collect us, that's probably a bad thing. We don't want to be collected, I would presume.
Collectors generally collect the already dead.
Ah, okay.
I would also love to do a thing while I'm up here.
Okay.
I would love to see what these fellas' loadout is, if I can perceive anything. Like who's got arrows, who's got swords.
Sure. So what you see is they all have a club in their hands.
Oh, you said that.
But the two towards the eastern side definitely have heavy crossbows strapped to them.
Oh, okay.
They're not out, of course, but they're definitely carrying them. Let me see here. Can't remember what he he's got. You don't see any weapons visible on the hooded figure. I'm not quite sure what he's carrying, and if he is maybe concealed.
I'm going to assume, for safety's sake, that he's probably a spellcaster.
Okay, Kahareth, where were we at in our conversation here?
I was making them an offer they couldn't refuse.
Ah, how much are you getting paid, sort of thing. Yeah. He sort of smirks once more. How much do you have there, oh wondrous officer of the law? Making a deal with criminals. This should be quite entertaining.
Well, I'm not going to negotiate against myself. And as you aptly put, I am just a mere officer of the law. But surely, the risk reward calculation that you got to be doing here, you don't have to get hurt and you walk away with money. Surely that's got to be a win for you.
Well, you're not wrong exactly, but see, I have bosses, and bosses don't tend to be quite happy when their underlings do not perform the duties which they have set upon them to do. Now, we are here to collect you, alive or dead. Makes no difference to us. Just depends on how you want to go.
Well, just tell me who your boss is. I'm sure he's a reasonable man, he or she, and I'll have a heart-to-heart with that person. We can, again, like I said, no one has to get hurt today. No one wants to get hurt, right?
I don't particularly wish to be hurt, no, but I don't mind hurting. Quite enjoy that aspect of the job, actually.
Colias putting 2 to 2 together that they are indeed collectors, as earlier she's gonna kind of shout from behind this statue that she's hiding behind. Don't collectors only collect the dead? Don't you have to never defend yourself against dead people either? I'm just saying. Finding this entire situation confusing, unfair, just why is this happening?
A couple of them take another step forward. Arphef getting close to you, and of course closer to Kahareth as well. And they're sort of patting their clubs in their hands, the sort of menacing way that, you might see from West Side Story or something, as they're coming slightly closer to you. The man in the robes does not approach. It's very well. Go ahead. Take care of them. Make it quick. And begins to step back and away from the scene. And I guess one of the things I get to say, I haven't got to say yet in this campaign is, except for the very first game, I suppose, let's roll some initiative.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are on point, Arphef.
Same.
And he's so excited too. He's been itching for this.
Oh, Arphef with the 1. Kahareth with 17. What'd you get, Colias?
I got a 10.
A 10?
A 10.
And I guess I better roll for Aras too, huh? She's got 12. Oops. Is that everybody in our turn order here? I believe it is. Cool. Okay, Kahareth, it's technically your turn first.
I will not. I'll leave my sword in my scabbard, and I'll address this guy who's just right in front of me.
Okay.
Say, listen, friend, your boss is running away. There's no reason that you have to go through with this. The offer I was making him is good for you as well. Whatever he's paying you, I'll double it.
Go make me a persuasion.
This is with advantage, and it's a 20.
Okay. So he sort of stops patting the club in his hand, looks around at the group, looks around at the ones that he's standing with, and to his boss to his backside, who's sort of turned on his heel and has begun to walk away. And I'm going to say for this round, he's not going to act. Anything else for your turn?
No. I'll nod at him, thankfully.
Okay. So that will bring us to the collector's turn. One here is going to step up. And he sort of lifts this club at you, Kahareth, and begins to take a nice swipe at you. And that will be a miss.
It's a miss.
You get 2 attacks around. And that will be a miss. Damn. Alright.
Hold up my shield.
Sort of bangs off the side of your shield. This one up here is going to take a step at you first, Arphef. Keep getting to the wrong character sheet, I apologize. Makes 2 attacks against you, Arphef. 14 and a 20. Is a 20 hit?
The 20 just hits, yep.
Just hits. Okay. That is not the correct damage. That's 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Whoosh.
No, I'm sorry, it's 6 points of bludgeoning, not 8. My bad. And the other one is going to step up to you. Oh. That's a natural 20 to hit. That will be 9 points of bludgeoning damage on you.
Alright, Arphef takes a couple of good, solid hits, passes shield, passes armor, passes magical shield, and gives out a bit of a groan and then kind of wipes the blood from his face.
Excellent. So we have one that's going to come up behind you again on Kahareth, since you're on the front. And I think 22 should hit you, I believe. Unless your Shield of Faith is...
My Shield of Faith makes my AC 22, but I will cast, as a reaction, I will cast a shield.
Okay.
My AC 27.
Okay, nice. And the other one next to him is going to attack you as well. Does that last more than just one attack? I don't remember.
It lasts until my turn.
Okay, so the other 2 are going to miss you as well then. Which will bring us to Aras. God, I don't even know what her character even does in combat. This is going to be amazing.
Whatever she does, she could also, bonus action, inspire someone.
This is true. She's a bard, isn't she?
I don't know what she's more of.
Well, her spells. Her spells, though. Okay. She's about out of spells, never mind. I don't think she'd be the type to rush in and fight, though. But she has no ranged weapons.
Well, does she not have a... maybe not. Does she have, like, the mobility feature?
I don't believe so. I didn't realize that Aras wasn't going to be here today, even though she told us that she wasn't going to be. Or I've been a lot more prepared for this. I know.
We'll cut it in post.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it too much. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm just going to have her attack for now because I don't know her character stuff very well. She hit. I think she gets sneak attack too, correct? She got last time, did she not?
Yep.
Ooh, did 12 points of damage altogether. So she sort of just rushes out of the darkness there and stabs this guy. Sort of cutting into his back, not really seeing they're there. She's going to... Let's just stay put for right now. Colias, it's your turn.
Hey, I think I'm going to try and get someone away from Kahareth. Yeah, I think I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on the guy that's like right. I don't know how to mark things in Roll20, but he's like right in front of Kahareth, to his left.
Gotcha.
No, not that guy. The other
Okay.
guy.
This guy? This
Teamwork.
guy?
That guy.
Okay.
That guy.
This guy here is all moving around. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what do I need to make here?
You need to make a wisdom saving throw. I
Wisdom
think.
saving
Let me double
throw.
check that. Pardon?
Wisdom saving throw? That is a 4.
Oh, cool. You failed.
Are you sure? Okay.
I'm pretty sure. All right. So, oh, geez, it's been a while since I've done this.
Been a while.
3d6 psychic damage. Woo!
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
How do I type it in Roll20 actually?
/R space.
/R space
Your damage.
3d6.
There you go.
Yeah. All
11
right.
points.
And since he failed,
Mhm.
you have to try and get, let's see, move as far as its speed allows away from you.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha. So he can't really move till his turn, so. Anything else for yours?
I'm going to use my bonus action to inspire Kahareth.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I hope you feel very inspired.
I do.
Is that all for your turn there, MK?
That is going to be all for my turn.
Okay. We have our unknown figure who is not going to do anything this turn. So that's going to bring us to Ilyahin.
All right. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark,
Okay.
and I'm going to cast it on our vocal cloaked friend, who's not a friend.
Okay.
And then as I pull my arrow back on my bow, my big ass bow, I'm going to make. I've been pretty quiet up till now about this whole thing, but I'm gonna suck in a real deep breath, and then I'm going to very loudly make the sound of a kookaburra.
Okay.
And the intent with that is to alert the hive about what's going on, that there is something going on.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And then I will let that arrow fly, and I will let it fly at this guy.
Excellent.
I got a 20.
That will hit.
That will be 10 piercing.
Oh.
And then I think I will actually drop down on the rooftop,
Okay.
that I'm prone.
Okay. Would that be all for your turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Arphef,
All
you're gonna be
right.
set upon by 2 foes. One has an arrow sticking out of his side currently.
Arphef is going to swing his battle axe at the one that's got the existing arrow wound.
Excellent.
Let me get it to roll. There we go. That is a 21.
That definitely hits.
Perfect. So 6 points of damage on that first hit.
Okay.
And then as that first one cuts into his body, I am going to say a quick prayer to Clangadin and use one of my War Priest bonus actions to make a second attack
Okay.
as well on him.
Nice.
Yes. And that is a 20
That will hit as well.
for 4 additional points of damage.
Nice. He is looking pretty rough.
Excellent. I am not going to disengage, so I will stay where I'm at, and then just kind of spit in that guy's general direction.
Okay.
Guy or gal, yes.
Very lovely.
Yeah.
So that brings us back to the top of the order, Kahareth.
All right, so
I'm gonna change music.
only one of these gentlemen seems reasonable.
Currently.
So I will pull out my blade, and as I am unsheathing it, I will cast the spell Green Flame Blade.
Okay.
So green flames slither down the sword, and I will reluctantly attack this fellow here for fear that he might have some retribution for Tabitha.
Okay.
So that would be a 19 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
That is 9 slashing damage. And then as my flaming sword comes down, some of that fire jumps off and does 5 damage to the other guy.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so the second man begins to be enveloped in these sort of green flames and begins to try to pat them out furiously as he can. Kahareth. You feel this sudden feeling washing over you. This sort of joy. Something that's out of place for you. And these green flames that are licking at the blade that you're carrying now slowly begin to turn white hot. And you all even watch as it looks like the edge of the sword begins to become molten, as if the steel is dripping off the point of the blade. Kahareth, you feel this warmth rising within you. And you hear words whispered in your ear. Consume. Take action. Kill them all. And that is the end of your turn. How does Kahareth react to this?
So he frequently talks to people mind to mind, but usually he has to give that ability to someone else to respond to what he's said. And he's pretty sure none of his friends, folks he's been traveling with, have the ability to just do that on their own volition. So he's looking at all of the folks who have jumped out and peering at the guy in the back, wondering if he's doing something to my mind, because there was something at the beginning as well that happened when we saw these guys. So clearly there's something trying to get me to be violent, and I am resisting. Was resisting.
But damn, does it feel good. And you're trying to fight that urge, that feeling back the entire time. as this blade's slinging out, and you're feeling it meet flesh and cut through it, and that little sound as the flesh parts sends these little ripples of joy across your flesh.
It's like eating French fries from McDonald's. It's like I don't want it, but I want it.
Right, that will bring us to the collector's turn. Let me roll for this one first. This one here seems to be the one that you talked to earlier. Seems to be kind of caught. There's one side. There's all of his mates that are getting beat up to hell right now, and then there's this boss to the east of him. He's not quite sure what to do. He's looking towards you, getting ready to strike. Not quite sure what to do at this point. The other one next to him begins to flee. Per of Colias' spell. You have a reaction if you want to take it against him.
I think normally I wouldn't, but I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, oh no, you don't. You get back here, or not. That's a 12 to hit.
It'll hit.
Oh, all right. Well, then that is 7 slashing.
7 slashing. Excellent. And go ahead and roll me an extra 1d6, please.
Okay, doke. That is 1.
1. So your weapon takes a nice chunk out of the back of him, and you see his back just start to split open like a sausage almost, and this molten line begins to burn into his flesh from your sword. He sort of stumbles as he begins to run, screaming in agony. And he's actually going to book it from this scene.
You just red eagled that guy.
All right. So we got 4 more to take care of here. We'll go ahead and handle the ones on Arphef here real quick. Arphef, you see the two of them begin to work together. They're sort of feigning off of each other, trying to get the best strike against you as they can. In game terms, they are using pack tactics currently against you. So they're going to get advantage with these rolls. So 18 hit you?
Nope.
21 would hit, I would assume? Okay, so despite their best efforts, they only managed to land 1 hit against you, but it does. A solid hit, 7 points of bludgeoning damage against you. Let's see, we have the 2 down here. One is going to take a swipe or 2 over at the bard. And it's going to miss. And the other one is going to take some shots at you, Kahareth, and horribly misses. So I'll bring us to Aras' turn. Who is once again going to hit. Not for very much this time, for 5 points of slashing damage. Which one am I on here? Okay. That one's not looking too hot right now. And she is going to use a bonus action to disengage. 10, 15, 20, 20. And run back towards Colias' position. Colias, that brings us up to you.
Alright, I am going to conserve spell slots and cast Vicious Mockery on one of the dudes that's attacking Arphef.
Okay.
And she's gonna say, your robe looks stupid on you and it doesn't fit you right.
Wow. What do I need to make for that?
Wisdom saving throw, please.
My best saving throw. Ooh, 15.
That... Whoop, where is it? There we go. That'll do it.
All right.
He succeeds. So...
He's like, well, your dress looks stupid.
You look stupid! Shut up!
Your face is stupid.
Mom's stupid!
I don't have a mom. Ha ha!
Me neither! Ha ha!
Oh, it's kind of sad, actually. Anything else for your turn?
That I think that'll be it. I needed to see if there was like a failure, but I don't think there is.
Okay.
I think he just gets off scot-free.
All right. So that will bring us to the robed figure's turn, who sees one of his allies begin to take off in another direction. The other ones are quickly beginning to fall. Sort of sighs and begins to take a step forward. 15. Oh, can I be a dick? Oh, I want to be a dick. You see him reach into his robe and pull out some sort of substance and swishes it between his fingers and lifts his hand, and a gout of flame bursts from it. It arcs over in this corner, right behind where Colias and Tabitha are standing. And I actually think it's going to also hit you as well. Ilya, I need you all to make me dexterity saving throws, please. That will be a failure.
I got a 7.
You got a 7.
A 7.
You are amazing. Ouch. That's going to be 30 points of fire damage.
I'm down. The whole friggin' side of the building just explodes up underneath me, and I'm lost in the rubble.
And Aras barely passes.
So yeah, that was like all of my hit points.
Okay, so you're down as well?
Yes.
Okay. Ilya. Death saving throw, please.
Yep. That is a critical one.
Oh! It's 2 failures. Arphef, it's your turn.
Seeing his allies drop quickly, he is going to use his channel divinity on guided strike. Even though he doesn't have to do it until he's made the roll, he's going to trigger it right away.
Okay.
So he'll get a +10 on this attack right here, and this is to the guy that or the one that I have hit once or twice already.
Okay.
And so that would be a 22
That will definitely hit.
for 4 points of slashing damage on that guy.
Okay, he is down.
Perfect. And I'm going to shout and just turn to my left at the one that's still standing, just kind of bearing a very angry face, and use my, what is it called, for the second attack? I always forget. My War Priest ability, and make a bonus action second attack on that one.
Okay.
And that is only a 12.
12 will hit.
Oh, nice. Then that is 4 points of damage on that guy.
Okay.
That one.
I don't think he's been hit yet. Okay.
No. I'm concerned for my friends, but I can't. If I disengage, I'm likely to go down on the way there, so I'm just going to try to fight through on this one here. So just pure rage going at this one that's left standing. And that is my turn.
Excellent. Kahareth.
And so as the fire goes over his head, he looks back and he sees both Colias and Ilya fall.
Yes.
And he looks back. He's so upset, and he books it back to Colias.
Okay. So we get 2 attacks of opportunity against you. And they will both miss.
All right. So I will drop my sword and put my hand on her tiny little body and use 10 points of my lay on hands.
Nice.
So she gets 10 points back.
Okay, so you rush over and put your hands down in the scorched body of this child. And begin to reknit the flesh underneath of your fingertips.
Colias, are you all right?
Colias kind of comes to. She says, "Oh God, what's cooking? Who burnt it?"
Oh, that's terrible. It's so terrible.
And I'll say, "Oh, go ahead."
Go ahead.
I'll say, "Stay down. Ilya's over there, and she's hurt too." And then I will grab my sword, and I've used all my movement, so I will be standing right there.
Okay. It's the collector's turn.
Quickly, I'm not too familiar with reactions. Can I use one to try to, as he's running past, to try to draw the attention and basically say, you know, I've felled one of your friends, and now the two of you are next, to try to draw them towards me as a reaction, or?
Sure. We'll try it if you want to try to use some sort of persuasion, I suppose, in this case. Not quite sure what to make for that roll.
It could be that or intimidation, possibly. That's your call.
I don't really see it as an intimidation per se.
Okay. That is a 12 total.
Okay. Okay. Well, you seem to have gathered their attention.
Not sure it was the wisest move, but it's the move he's making.
Okay. I'm gonna make a roll for the one that Kahareth had initially talked to. You see him just with sweat rolling down his face, just with the concern of the situation, not sure what the hell's going on exactly, and he just begins to book it. And he and this other one here are probably off the map by now. Okay, so this one here begins to make its way around the statue towards you, Kahareth. 10, 15, 20, 25. The other one begins to make its way... I'm sorry, one's making its way towards Kahareth and one towards Arphef. Let's make your attacks against you, Arphef. Ooh, 20 and 19.
That's one hit.
Okay. That will be 4 points of bludgeoning. And here we go. And against you, Kahareth. Ooh, a 23 and a 21. Any reactions or anything for those?
I could, but I will abstain, and I'll take the 23.
Okay. That'll be 7 points of bludgeoning damage. Let's see, Aras. 10, 15. She's going to leap up on the building here, and we're going to make a medicine check. Okay, Ilya, you are stable. You no longer have to roll death saving throws, but you're not conscious yet. Colias, it is technically your turn. You're prone on the ground.
How is Kahareth looking, damage-wise? Is he looking rough? Is he looking good?
You will note that he hadn't been hit at all until just now.
Oh, until just now. So he's pretty much good. So we got three dudes.
He's a flippin' tank's what he is.
But I did lose concentration on my Shield of Faith.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm going to once again cast Dissonant Whispers on one of the dudes that is in front of Arphef.
Okay.
To try and get him gone as well.
Sure. Wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 9. That would be a failure. Any particular
Alright.
one you want, top or bottom?
The top one.
Top
For
one.
some reason, I can't do the clicky thing. I can't figure it out.
Can't do the clicky thing.
I can't do the clicky thing.
I'm not sure what the clicky thing is you're speaking of.
So,
Click and
you
hold.
know, like mark it as a circle.
Click and hold is what I do.
Oh, I just hold down the left mouse button.
Oh, I don't know which way is left. That's the problem.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else? Your turn.
That'll be it.
8 points of damage. Excellent.
I'm just gonna chill.
You're just gonna chill. Okay. Well, it is the road figure's turn. Let's see, what are we gonna do? He's gonna take a couple steps, 5, 10, 15, 20, over here, and raise his hand at you, Kahareth. And when I bring the right character sheet up, I will cast a spell. Just a firebolt. And he will critically miss. Never mind the damage. That will be the end of his turn. Ilya Hin, you are still unconscious. Arphef.
Do I have any way of knowing that the one on the top of the map has been affected by a spell, or am I kind of oblivious to the impacts that he has had? Is there anything visible?
Why don't you give me an insight check?
That's a 15.
With your 15, you realize that his stance is definitely off. Before, they were sort of had this sort of pack tactic mentality where they were trying to goad you and such. He seems to be ready to look for an out.
Then I'm going to square up on the one that is still focused on me and make that attack with my battle axe. Being down to No, I'm gonna one-hand it and keep the shield up.
And this one's actually pretty badly hurt too. On top of it.
Oh, perfect. That is a 15 to hit.
That will hit.
3 points of damage.
Okay.
And then I am feeling a third use of my War Priest ability.
Oof.
And I'm going to bonus actions. Unless that guy went down, I'm going to swing at him again.
Okay.
And that is a critical.
Oh.
I think that means 8 points of damage on there, or is that 5 plus 8 for
5
13?
plus 8. Yeah. So 13 points of damage.
Boom.
What's left of this guy after you sink your axe into him? Anything?
I have cleaved deep across both his chest in both directions diagonally. And we'll say that we kind of did a wide one that got the shoulder, so one or both of his arms went off with that. And as I kind of like relax my battle axe for a moment, I say, collect this.
Nice.
And then my turn.
Excellent. Inspiration, sir. Kahareth, your turn.
All right. So I saw Colias cast a spell. I think she's doing pretty all right. So I'm just gonna walk around this fella, and as I'm moving around athletically and taunting him to make sure he follows me, I will stab him when I find an opening.
Okay. Excellent.
Am I flanking him?
You are.
Very good. Then that is also a crit.
Shit. Okay.
17 slashing.
Okay, so yeah, tell me about this. What happens to this guy as he goes down?
So yeah, as I'm circling around him, I'm hitting him with my shield, and I just knock his club away, and I just bury my sword to the hilt into his chest, and then pull it back and flip the blood, turning around at the spellcaster, and bonus action Hexblades curse him.
Oh, okay.
So he knows the evil eye is on him, or not the evil eye. I'm a good guy, everyone. And I will use some more of my movement to close the distance.
Okay. So you withdraw this sword, and there's this hiss as the blood is boiling on the edge of the blade. You sort of fling it off to the side, and the steam rises as this hot blood hits the pavement in the cool night air. Collector is going to flee. You have a reaction if you'd like to take it, Arphef. It's entirely up to you.
Oh, you better believe that he would like to.
Okay.
Can I drop my shield during a reaction, or do I have to maintain the one-handed attack?
I think in this situation, I don't see an issue with just dropping something.
Perfect. And I'm going to do that and two-hand swing. And only roll an 11.
11 will hit.
Oh, perfect. And that is 4 points of damage.
Okay. He's still up. And he is going to flee. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He'll use a full round action. Get the hell out of there. Okay. Let's see, what is Aras going to do? She's hurt pretty bad. I don't think that she's going to try to engage anybody right now. Shits and giggles. Just have her throw a dagger at this guy. And I crit. For 4 points of damage.
She might get sneak attack.
Oh, she does actually. You're correct. Because you were standing right next to her. And that's 7 more points of damage. Oh, actually, it's not right. 7. Double the dice. 10. 16. Ouch.
Got him in the eye.
That's 16 more points. So he's just sort of watching Kahareth as you come by with this glowing hot blade after, like, mutilating one of his sidekicks. And just watching him in disbelief as this knife just comes out of the dark towards him. It sort of lands, like, almost right into his neck, into his shoulder, and just his blood just instantly begins to pour out. It looks like he may have hit some sort of artery or something. He's not looking very good. And I guess we'll use her bonus action to inspire you, Kahareth.
I already have an inspiration.
Do you?
I have not used. Yes.
Okay. We'll give it to Arphef then.
You just gave me one as well. Like this.
Different kind of inspiration, though. So.
Oh.
So you have a D6 inspiration die to use.
Excellent.
Colias.
Oh boy, it's me.
It's you.
So, I guess I should probably like stand up. Maybe that's like half my movement, right?
Yes.
All right. So Colias is gonna stand up. All big. Colias is going to be big.
Okay.
And tough. I guess it's a free action to yell at someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But would it be a free action to try and persuade someone?
That would be an action.
That would be an action, okay.
Yeah.
Darn. I got a decision to make. How charismatic am I? I'm not super charismatic.
MK is pretty charismatic.
Me as a person, very charismatic. Oh, jeez. All right, I'm gonna freaking risk it. Colias is gonna yell, very tall in her own way.
Okay.
And proud with her 10 hit points and a very serious face. She's gonna yell at this leader dude.
Okay.
And be like, "You're all alone, and there's no chance of winning. So you should just give up." She probably said it a lot better than I just did.
So you're gonna make an intimidation roll.
Okay, intimidation. All right. Jesus, what is my intimidation? Okay.
I was gonna use it based off the words you used, so.
All right. I got a 16.
16. That's a good roll. It's a good roll. He grabs this dagger that's in his side, next to his neck right now, looking at Kahareth, who's bearing down upon him. Doesn't step away just yet, of course, but he definitely takes the dagger and rips it free of his skin, tossing it to the side. Holds on to it and begins to look like he's starting to backpedal away from the situation. This little girl has apparently put the fear in him.
Very intimidating. Very intimidating, almost dead little girl.
That will bring us to his turn. We're going to use a bonus action to cast a spell. and he sort of steps back away from you, Kahareth, and melds into the shadows. And before you realize it, he is off to your east now, emerging from the little bit of shadow between these two windows. You see him gasping as blood begins to pour from his shoulder, and he continues to go 10, 15, 20, and flees northward out of sight between the buildings. Do you all decide to pursue, or?
I would look to the lawman to see what kind of indication he's giving as to what to do in this situation.
He's looking back at Ilya. If that guy's taken off, he's going to run and offer whatever kind of aid he can to Ilya.
Okay. That will take us out of initiative then.
Well, in that case, I will get over there and cast Cure Wounds. And
Excellent.
heal. Oh, there's no extra healing for Hexblade's Curse. It's 13 points of healing.
It just subtracts from the total. That's what it does. Okay. So I think you killed all but 2 of them. Is that correct? So we have 4 bodies laying scattered amongst the streets. You guys do hear what sounds like footsteps, or I should say like hard footsteps off to your west, coming closer, getting a little louder. Many of them.
Say, Ilya, are you all right? I think we got to get out of here.
I'm fine. Why do you think we have to get out of here?
There's either reinforcements coming or folks who are going to want answers to these about these dead bodies.
I called reinforcements myself earlier. It could be them as well.
Oh, well, if you want to take your time, this is...
You go. I'll catch up, okay? I'll see who it is.
There. Everyone, come with me.
Okay.
And I run somewhere.
You're running somewhere because you guys don't really know where you're going.
Colias kind of looks back at Ilya while she's running with a very concerned look of like, oh shoot.
You just see
Darn.
this face of determination as she rises and grabs her bow and puts it back on her back and then stealths.
Okay.
And I'm chasing after Kahareth, trying to keep up as best as I can.
Okay, so the main contingent of the party begins to flee eastward through the streets. Ilya, I want you to give me a stealth check.
18.
18. Okay, so you slide into the shadows and await. It's not long before you start seeing the first faces of what's quite clearly a Harmonium patrol, who begins looking at the scene in front of them, seeming to be oblivious to your presence here, but begin to stalk towards the 4 bodies that are laying on the pavement right now, beginning to check their vitals and figure out what exactly happened here.
Okay, I'll start to slink away.
Okay. And with your roll, I'm not going to worry about you making yet another
I'll
stealth
move slowly
check.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get to stalk off east as well. How far are you all going away from this scene before you decide to stop, or do you?
So, as I understand it, part of the goal was to head towards the night market. I was thinking Ilya's house was on the way or something like that. So if I know where I am, then I can pick a location that I think would be a safe spot. So if I know where I am, I will head towards a safe spot.
Okay. I think you guys were coming from the night market, were you not?
We were coming from the...
Maybe you were coming from the inn.
Yeah, the Black Sail.
Black Sail, correct. Excellent, okay. So
Wouldn't Colias know where Ilia's place is?
Probably.
I don't know how tight you guys are, so
I cared for her when she got to Sigil initially because she wasn't affiliated with anyone.
excellent. Well, in that case, you guys make it first to Ilia's little hideout. Casey, why don't you let us know what is this place like? What does it look like?
Well, it's real shitty.
Well, it is the hive, so.
Yeah. There's nothing that particularly marks it on the outside. You kind of have to know it because of the buildings that actually surround it.
Okay.
If you go in, there's only part of a floor. A lot of it, the part that is floor is hardwood, but there's like a giant hole blasted in it that has since rotted. And then there's the sound of water dropping in the background, but you don't know where it's from. You don't see anything. And there's a hole in the ceiling over on the far side of the room, and there are rats scurrying all over the ground, which probably disperse upon your arrival. There's a floor mat over in the corner, and there is an unlit hooded lantern beside it.
Nice. I'm gonna take a step further, just with those rats in particular. Let's make them cranium rats.
Sure, why not?
Which individually aren't really frightening creatures. They're more vermin and pests at this point. But they are fairly large and with little tiny exposed brains on the top of their heads. Because I knew you would love to hear about that, Casey. And they scurry away from the new noise that's come. You guys wait. And wait. I'd assume that Ilia would probably sneakily, quietly makes her way inside the building. And what you see, of course, is your compatriots, who are some of the worse for wear still, but alive.
Well, it was the popo. The harmonium, sorry.
Well, good thing we didn't get caught by them. That would have just really sucked. It would have really been a damper on our day, other than almost getting kidnapped.
They would have bogged us down in so much paperwork.
Ah.
Quick question, DM.
Yes.
So we're using the new Unearthed Arcana class variance features.
Okay.
In it, I have selected to go with the favored foe instead. It gives you the ability to use Hunter's Mark without concentration. That kind of nudges me into thinking that being incapacitated doesn't necessarily diminish it either. That it is, once the mark is applied, it is its own, like, that's it, it's done. It's like putting a stamp on something or a brand. But I could also see...
I can see a case either way, yes.
Yes. How would you like to do this?
I am not a tyrannical DM. What do you all say? I vote that... Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Seems to fit the rule, yeah.
I figure any of you guys would probably disagree with that, so... Okay, so your Hunter's Mark is still upon this hooded figure who seems to be fleeing north through the city right now.
After the paperwork joke, I will say also that totally would have wasted the rest of my ability to track that asshole. Which I can do if we were interested in doing so. I wouldn't advise you heavily armored fellas to join us, but everyone else, as long as you can stay quiet, you can come with.
Well, how do you propose to track the man? He's running through the city. and it's not like he's leaving footprints.
I marked him as my quarry within, oh, this is going to sound so weird and cheesy, within my mind and soul. It's a discipline I've learned.
Remind me not to anger you, ever, for any reason.
I just, dude tossed the fireball and I was out. I don't, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can go see where he scurries off to, if you like.
Well, I'm very interested in finding out where he went, but I don't feel comfortable at all letting you go by yourself in your state.
How injured do you look, Ilya? Your character.
She's still burned throughout a little more than like half of her body. Her, she got some parts on her. She looks kind of gnarly, but she also looks determined, and her muscles are taut when she stands, like she is ready for action.
Well, I'm going to walk over and cast a 2nd level Cure Wounds and say, well, if you're going, you can't go like this. And heal you for 15 hit points.
I guess for now we're instead resolute and probably running more on adrenaline and hate than anything else. She looks a lot better for wear. As Arphef's spell begins to slowly reknit the flesh that's burned. It's got this slight more pinkish hue to it.
I'm gonna walk over to, I'm gonna address Colias. Say, how you doing?
I am doing, and she's kind of looking at like the burntness of her dress and kind of like the soot, most likely, and she's like, well, I'm just about half the person I used to be.
I will reach into my pack and grab the food I got from the tavern and say, "Here, I got this for you.
And she
You don't have to eat it now if you're not hungry. You can just keep a hold on to it."
She just kind of like looks at him kind of inquisitively, like, okay, all right, okay, and takes it. Mostly because, yes, she is indeed half the person she used to be. So, because all of it is burned away. So she will take it wordlessly.
I'd like to grab Arphef by the head, and because he's short, and just give him a hug, give his head a hug.
And I'll wrap it back around you and say, yeah, like I said, I don't aim to anger you.
I feel great now. I feel absolutely amazing. I could go another round for sure. That's do I recognize the symbol he's wearing?
Who, Arphef?
Mm-hmm.
It's the symbol of Clangeddon. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that dwarven god. Dwarven god of battle, I believe.
I want to say it's probable, because I think that he's also got hangouts in this realm in which Sigil sits.
It's more than likely.
Yeah. So I will just tap him on the pauldron and say, "Thank you, boss," for me.
I certainly shall.
I'm off. Time's wasting.
Okay, so who's going where here? Ilya's going for the hunt, I know that.
Are we in Ilya's house?
Currently, yes.
We'll say to Colias, you should stay put. We can stay back.
Colias is gonna kind of be like, because Colias has been on adventures with Ilya before, and so Colias is gonna kind of look at Ilya and just kind of be like, well, Are we going? Are we going? Wait, no, him? What? Kind of there's an entire situation of disbelief of like what's my job here if I'm not serving a purpose?
Stay here. Play pretty music. Offer moral support.
Okay.
Just for this time.
You know that look
kinda-
well, Ilya.
I'll make it up to you later, I swear.
She kind of pulls out her freaking burnt lute, starts noodling around.
Ilya, are you going solo then?
Yeah, my wisdom here is that if there's only one person, then A, they can get away easier without worrying about keeping up with the other person, and B, less chance of being caught.
Gotcha. Okay. Before we go do that, let's go ahead and take a break real quick. We'll be back in like 10 minutes or so. Maybe less, depending. So we'll continue on with this. Be right back. you didn't say it before we go live. Okay, so we're back. The main contingent of the party, I guess, is going to sit and lick their wounds and rest up a little bit here. Ilya, you decide to take to the streets of Citra once again, trying to zone in on this Hunter's Mark spell that you've cast upon this hooded figure who's fled, as far as you know, to the north of the part of the city. Of course, north is an awful vague term in the city's sigil. It's going to give me a survival check, and we'll just do this just so you can see, maybe you can have a better idea of what location he might be headed towards.
Hunter's Mark ought to give me advantage on that.
Absolutely.
It's 25.
25. Excellent. As you begin to stalk through the streets, and I'm assuming you're probably keeping to the shadows or maybe even to the rooftops. I don't know exactly how you would like to pursue this, but...
I can literally climb walls like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style.
Mhm.
Just fly up those things. So I imagine it'll be a combination of the both.
Excellent. So we got this nice scene. So we sort of pan this camera, watching Ilya just sort of leap and grab onto things and swing up on them, and following with an intensity towards her target. Ilya, you realize that you're staying within the hive ward, perhaps going a little deeper, but you are definitely heading in a direction that you're well familiar with. While the streets become more and more chaotic with debris and trash, you're already starting to catch that similar scent of death and formaldehyde. A very familiar scent. And it's not long before you realize that you are getting closer and very, 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 very closer to mortuary.
It's only been less than an hour. Well, I don't know. It's only been a very short time since we left there.
Yeah.
All right.
How close do you want to get?
I'm gonna give a wide berth to the front entrance for sure. I'll probably hop up on the roofs that are adjacent to the back side of it.
Okay.
And see if I can see an easy way in that is not so well guarded.
Okay. Mortuary, in particular, is never super well guarded. It's not a place that many people want to go to. And usually if you're inside, you're not of mind or body to leave it. You make your way closer, realizing that your target has gone within its walls. You make your way up to the second floor. And even here, the windows themselves are left open, unguarded. Seems there's again, not much of a sense of urgency to keep people out. Because who would want to break into a mortuary? Apparently you. You're going to slip inside?
Can I listen first to see if I hear any voices or footsteps or bodies?
Absolutely.
Moving bodies.
Go ahead, just make me a perception.
17.
17. In your immediate area, you don't really sense anything going on. There's distant sounds of footsteps, or more like shuffling.
I think
Similar to what you would guess would be maybe some of the workers inside, some of the undead workers inside. That shuffle and scrape of either flesh or a nub of a bone scraping against the metal floor. But off to the western part of where you're listening to, you hear hushed voices. What was your roll again? 17?
Yes.
And one of them definitely sounds vaguely familiar. A female voice. And there's another one that you... Yes, it sounds almost exactly like your quarry's. You can tell with the direction of your hunter's mark that he's definitely in that direction as well. Can't quite make out what they're saying.
I'm going to chance it. I'm going to slip inside stealthily.
Okay. You pop inside. Your feet meeting these metal grating type floors. You can almost look down into the floor below. So you decide to take it even slower, more carefully. Fearful that your weight might even offset these plates a little bit, just enough to make a noise. Following along the walls, you draw closer. The hallway itself seems to follow a circular pattern, sort of the shape of the building itself. And you hear the voices growing louder. Not that they're picking up tone, just that you're drawing closer to them, I should say. And there's an open doorway. And from where you can see, it looks like there's books along a wall. You can't quite see well enough into the room, but you can tell that there's some sort of furnishings inside. And the warmth of a light flickering. How close do you want to approach?
I would like to try to hear them, as long as there aren't any of their fleshy manservants directly in the area.
Okay.
And I would also, if it's made out of stone, like brickstone, or anything that has any handholds, I'm going to try to climb the wall and actually stay up in the top corner crevice. All like, huh.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for that. There's plenty of handholds. Especially somebody with your abilities. You have no issue climbing up higher. Draw closer and listen, I suppose. You hear the voice of the hooded man. They'd gone away. Could not subdue them. And you hear the voice of Tirana. And you're used to the emotionless sort of tone that she'd carried before, and it doesn't seem to carry that now. Just you know that one works for the harmonium. They're going to be all over the place now. Before long, they're going to be knocking down at our walls. You failed us. You realize this. Her voice becomes quiet. And almost even from here, you can sense the trepidation in the air. Silence lasts a little uncomfortably long before you hear the sound of a body hitting the floor. Moments later, you hear the silent footsteps drawing closer to the door. And out you see Tirana, the dustman woman. She's cleaning her blade. Stops and looks back at her handiwork and begins to walk further away to the west, her figure slowly disappearing in the distance around the corners.
slip out as fast as I can, carefully.
Slipping out the building. Okay. With a rushed heartbeat, and throbbing fingers from staying up so high so long, peel away from the scene, swiftly out the window, and back to the city streets below, leaving the body of the hooded figure that you will never know. Returning to the group, I'm assuming.
You betcha.
You're moving back towards the direction, and you realize that the Harmonium Guard seems to be more of a presence right now. They're used to finding dead bodies on the streets, but we had some that recently have been pretty well killed. Pretty easily to tell how they were killed. And it's sort of upset the local area, and there are patrols out now. And you don't have much trouble eluding them, especially keeping to the roofs. And it does not take you long to return back to your abode. And your friends sitting still inside, looking a little bit better rested, I would assume.
Arphef is investigating these rainy rats and trying to not hurt one, but try to catch one as they're running around the place if they show themselves again.
Okay. Arphef, you approach one, and it doesn't seem to really be bothered by your presence. You reach down towards it, and it sort of climbs up in your hands and looks up at you.
And I have it there and kind of go to scritch it under the chin if it's not making any... And I'm not being at all aggressive.
Gotcha.
And if it accepts the scritch, I'll try to grab it a little crumb from one of my packs and feed it.
At first, it's hesitant. And you're used to an animal, at least domesticated, that might react this way. But even as you look at it, it seems to have some sort of spark of intelligence in its eyes. Albeit it may not be, it might be a distant one. But you see that it's testing the limits of what you're doing with it. And it does take some time, nearly to the point where it is already back before it finally accepts your reactioning touch and takes the food from your hand. Are the rest of you doing anything in the meantime while it is gone?
Colias is gonna kind of not super be with the dudes, but she's gonna sit there angrily playing Candle in the Wind, waiting for Ilya to return, I guess.
Okay. Is that the one you were practicing earlier?
I mean, not really, but I can play it, I think. So it's very plucky and very just
Very nice.
uncontrolled.
I think you're muted there, Karl.
I will be cleaning the muck off of my sword.
Okay.
I don't use it often, so I like to keep it clean when I can.
Excellent. In Arphef, as you're sort of feeding this creature, and it's about the same time that Ilya comes back, really, you notice that there seems to be more gathering towards your location. Sort of like encircling your feet, almost like an alley cat would, who realizes that there's food in the area. And they're sort of just circling around your feet and sort of pawing up at you. And Ilya, you walk into this strange scene.
Be careful, Arphef. They're a whole lot smarter than they look.
Are they smarter than they appear friendly? Because they seem pretty friendly, and I'll kind of toss out a couple more crumbs on the ground to the rats around me.
It's kind of up to the individual, I mean, you've got your sour apple cranium rats, and you got your cherubic, moralistic, philosophically inclined cranium rats.
Well, this one here I like, and I've decided, if you haven't already named them, to call this one Jack. I got the one in my hand.
Okay. Hello, Jack. It's nice to meet you.
You named a filthy rodent after me.
Um,
And it
Right.
looks at you as you say that. Yeah.
mhm. I don't think he likes it. In fact, I kind of think he's a she.
Oh, well then perhaps I won't come about naming the rats in your house. I apologize.
No, it's fine. This, honestly, this isn't actually my house. It's kind of just a place, a safe place. I actually don't stick around many places long enough to have home ownership. Anyways, so it was totally Tiriana, the one that we met and spoke to in the mortuary.
The one that's really bad at parties, very obviously so.
Yes.
I
Turns
knew
out she's
it.
very good at parties, death parties.
Ooh.
She totally shanked that one guy that was trying to bring us back. She was all like, "You have disappointed me," and she totally killed him. Fun fact, Kahareth, she really doesn't like the concept of the harmonium poking around. She fears. I don't know what fear is to her, but she says that she doesn't like the concept of the harmonium knocking on the mortuary's doors regarding all this. So that will be a complication for her.
Well, you did well, Ilya. Good job.
Yes, I did. Oh, there are also like a ton of harmonium out there investigating the scene. You might want to, like, if you're into that still, which I totally understand it if you're not, but if you are into that still, you might go give them a debriefing if you do want to instigate something there.
I'll file my report in the morning.
Okay.
But if this dust lady just took out this fella all by herself, I mean, that fella, he seemed somewhat powerful. If she was able to take him out, then I reckon that she'd be even more powerful.
Yeah, it's not like she wasn't advertising what she was about to do to him. So, yeah. If you do send harmonium in there, and this is like totally cool with me, but they do have their own force, the golems that we saw. So if you do send harmonium troops in there, or somebody decides to, make sure that they are expecting a kerfuffle.
Yeah, but you're right. It won't be up to me. It'll be up to my superiors.
Yeah, but just let them know.
For sure.
How's everybody else?
So wait, out of character, because I've lost the thread that we've been following, but pretty much we were. Oh God, I lost what exactly why we were coming back here in the first place at the very beginning.
We were gonna share information about what Elliot told us.
Okay.
Goliath.
All right.
And he was telling us that he's a big fan of Lathander.
Oh yeah, what did he tell you about the circumstances of his death? Who killed him?
Goliath?
Yeah.
He didn't say anything about that. He just kind of trembled for a minute and backed himself against the wall. I wasn't gonna make the poor man relive what we all lived. Yeah.
So he didn't remember, or we didn't ask him?
Well, we started to ask him, and then it looked like it was going to do more harm than good. And then he went and told us the thing about how the Morning Lord gave him a second chance and stuff. So I'm thinking that the memory could have been replaced at a certain point, and instead of seeing the ginormous, pasty, motherfucking ragamuffin that we saw, he might have seen Lathander instead. Not at the moment, but in replacement. Does that make sense?
Sure. I don't know a whole lot about magic, but is that something that magic could do?
Magic can do anything, especially divine magic. There are also psychic abilities that can completely just screw your brain up entirely. Mind.
Arphef's going to look at the cranium rat in his hand and out some window at the city of Sigil and think back to the sensatorium stones and say, makes as much sense as anything I've seen.
A lot of the... How do I explain this? A lot of the events that occur on the planar scale have to do with will, sense of will. And in that, it can direct magic in a lot of ways. So there are like trees of magic. And those trees can do anything as long as you have the will to make it happen. I think. Something like that.
So does that mean we can even trust the memory that we saw at all?
Not necessarily, but otherwise, why would it be where it was? Because it was put there. Wait. It's very difficult. Sorry, I don't deal with people very often. I'm usually alone for extended periods of time. Word's not so good. Why would it be saved? Why would it be saved as a memory in the sensorium? If it wasn't what?
I can posit a theory. You know, if I wanted to kill someone or do something with them, it might be handy to just give this person a false memory and then have a record of that false memory somewhere else of something that could kill him. So that way, if anyone ever wondered, hey, what happened to that guy? Oh, well, his last memory was of this death scene. So clearly it wasn't this other person who did it.
Colias would know exactly how the sensatorium memories work, correct? You have to be in the sensatorium to preserve a memory. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you do. So basically Colias like, no, wait, if he's dead, you can't get a memory out of him because he has to be in the sensatorium.
Right. I was saying that, you know, I convinced this fella to go to the sensatorium and I put a fake memory in him and I say, record this memory. And then I go and I do whatever I want with him. I have no idea. I'm gonna file my report. I'll talk to Factold Jeremiah tomorrow morning. Like he's more experienced in these sort of things. He might know.
You know, it's vibe stuff again, but I am vibing hard on the concept of the ragamuffin that we saw being whatever. Like, that's not even the important part. That book, though, that book felt real to me. Like, realer than real. So real.
So you're saying we should probably track down the book?
I don't know if it did, because if it did that, then it could, like, summon things, you know?
Track down the book without touching it.
Maybe, or figure out who's... Maybe they're all looking for the book. That's what's up. Like, Tiriana.
I think I'm going to sleep on it.
Don't let the rats bite.
Perhaps Gedramath could shine some more light on this tomorrow once we've spoken with him as well. Maybe he's got some insight that we just don't have on all this.
Well, that Gedremath was really only interested in finding a way to get to wherever Eliath was. And seemed pretty concerned about his own safety, from what I've been led to understand by your conversation with him. So I would rather have another chat with Eliath first to see if I can find out what he remembers about the circumstances of his death before we fill in Gedremath.
Sure.
That would be my preference.
But he made me promise that we would use discretion. That means poncho, that means quiet, that means don't draw anyone else to the scene, so on and so forth. Is that agreeable?
Clearly, we are the picture of discretion.
I
agree.
I think he mentioned you specifically. I don't remember. Maybe that was me.
Who was it that shouted his name? Was it Kahareth? And then I was the one that confronted him? Yeah.
Good times.
But yes, no, discretion to the best of my ability seems like the way to go with Eliath moving forward.
Perhaps I could get him to meet us somewhere. That way we don't have to go into the Black Sail. You can just come out, see us.
And I will make a DM interjection that his memory was not about him perishing. It was about his descent into madness.
Okay, night-night.
So we're going to spend a few hours here resting?
Ilya, I reckon that this place is fairly safe, but I'm no offense, I'm just going to take the first watch.
Go for it.
Okay. Everybody else is sleeping for now?
Arphef kicks off his boots, puts them up, and falls quickly asleep.
Okay. Arphef, you go to lay down for the night. And your little rat friend actually crawls up onto your chest. And sort of stands on its haunches, and it puts its two little ratty hands like right there on your chin. And you hear resounding, booming in the back of your skull. We are not Jack. We are many as one.
Well, my apologies, many as one. I meant no offense by it. I was looking for a simple way to reference you to my friends. I do apologize, and I'm just going to say that out loud in the room.
You're gonna say that out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making eye contact with the cranium rat.
Right.
Arphef, you okay over there? Are you talking to the rats? Don't talk to the rats.
To be fair, the rats talk to me first.
Oh my god. Would Colias know about these rats by now? Can I roll an intelligence or a history or a nature check?
You can give me history or nature.
History or nature.
Or hell, even arcana, really, for in this
Ooh,
thing.
alright. What do I got the goodest in? Let's go.
That's not a word.
Now it is. Let's go history.
Okay.
I got a natural 20.
A natural 20, excellent.
Yeah, I know all the history. Every history.
Okay. You know that cranium rats, in small numbers, are more or less just vermin. Like a typical rat, they just seek out food, shelter, warmth, whatever. But the trick is when cranium rats get into groups, especially large ones, you know that they have a sort of hive intelligence. So they all can meld their minds together and react as one massive unit. Even to the point where they can weave arcane magics together if there's enough of them. And if there's several hundred of them, they are quite formidable.
And how many would you say we've seen in total, kind of scurrying around this house or this hovel?
You've seen a handful,
Okay.
but you
There
are
higher
in
floors.
you're in a dilapidated part of the city, in a house with no floor or half a floor in it. It's hard to tell how many could be in the area around you right now.
This one's cute.
Colias is gonna just kind of be like, leave the rats alone. Trust it. Be nice to the rats, but leave them alone. It's too much trouble, more than it's worth.
Fair enough. Did the cranium rat say or think anything back to me after my last response, my apologetic response?
What it says to you, is, we appreciate your kindness, and it will not be forgotten amongst us.
Well, certainly. Well, I hope to see you and your friends here again. And then I'll kind of like just kind of lean back a little bit further where I'm laying and kind of tilt my head back to fall asleep, unconcerned by the rat's presence on my chest and face.
Okay.
It'll be a wonder if Arphef survives Sigil. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. So it says its words, and you respond. You have like a slight headache in the back of your head. I mean, it's not like pounding or really super aggravating, but there's definitely a small pain, a twinge, as you feel this thing's psychic projection in the back of your head. Then you feel it sort of scurry off the top of you. And anybody, I guess, Kahareth, who would definitely be paying attention, so you are the one doing watch first. You do see it sort of slink over the edge of the floor and disappear down into the depths. What is our order here, that we're going to be waking or sleeping? Or I know that Kahareth has first watch.
No one volunteered for the second watch, so after about 2 hours, I would go and wake up Tabitha.
Okay.
Because I know Tabitha.
Right. Okay. Okay, good deal. Nothing occurs on her watch. I suppose in this instance we have the both Ilya and Colias had been pretty badly injured, and she might feel that they need more rest, even though you've undergone some healing. But your muscles and your wounds are still sort of sore, even though they are healed up. She decides to wake Arphef for the last watch.
I'll awaken and take watch and keep an eye out in particular for any more of the cranium rats running around.
Sure. No more cranium rats, and you start to see the first rays of false light begin to trickle across the floor. But it seems the night has passed uneventfully for all of you. And you can click the long rest button now on your D&D Beyond character sheet.
And level up to level 4. Awesome.
JK.
Yay!
Unless...
What?
You will be leveling up to level 4, yes.
Where are the part?
I can't play the do thing on my Slack list, or I would do it for you.
I got you.
Can someone handle the thing in chat? Thank you. Appreciate it, Casey. Okay, so you guys have all awakened. Like I said, the first rays of light of the false mornings that are Sigil have begun to spread across the cobblestones, and you start to smell the fires beginning. The first hints of In this part of the city, it's probably not the most delectable breakfasts that are being cooked. It's what they could find. But that scent of cooking fires begins to waft through. And you start to hear the soft patter of a very light rain begin. Where are we headed today? What are we doing this morning?
When I wake up, first of all, like I wordlessly go to like the other side of the room, and then I pop on my earphones, and then I literally just sit there with my legs crossed, with my back to the group, for a whole hour.
When I wake up, if anyone is awake, I tell them that I'm heading out, and I'm going to make my report.
Okay. Arphef or Colias, you guys going to do anything in that hour that he is sitting there?
Colias will get ready for the day. As an entertainer, she has to look sharp.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And Arphef will kind of clean his gear from the night before, say a couple of kind of say a few prayers to Clangeddon. He's felt distant from him in his travels the last few weeks, and then otherwise prepare for what's bound to be another adventuresome day in Sigil.
Excellent. Okay. So then we will switch our scene off to Kahareth. You've made your way to the particular part of the hive where a station has been set up of the Harmonium Guard. Going to meet Factal Jeremiah, I'm assuming. So, again, walk past the guards who salute, knowing who you are. And again, into the main tent that's set up to be some sort of, like I said, almost like a commander's tent, who would be like overlooking an army. That sort of general setup. And Factal Jeremiah is still there. Looking through some papers, it seems, at the time as you walk in. He stands as you do.
Pardon me, sir. Don't mean to interrupt. But you did say you were interested in this various fella, and I do have some things to tell you.
Oh, well, go on. What is it?
Well, we were following... I was following some leads, and I went and visited the mortuary and discovered that a gentleman named Devarius worked there and was responsible for receiving some of these folks who had passed under mysterious circumstances. I've never seen either of these Devariuses or Devarii, and I cannot say for certain that they are the same person. However, it does raise a suspicion. The person who we were following up on, he had stopped at the sensorium, and he was accompanied by someone, the identity of which was stricken from their records. And could, again, have been that Devarius. Or it could be someone who's just really trying to make this Devarius fellow look guilty. He certainly does look that. We were following up on another lead when we were attacked last night in the hive. I don't know who the attackers were. I defended myself and slayed a few of them in self-defense, mind you, and then attacked or chased after their leader, but I was never able to catch up with him. But I do know that he did flee back to the moratorium, the muzzle, where the dustmen are. He went there.
The mortuary.
Mortuary, that's the one. It is my understanding and my belief that he met his demise there, and by the woman in charge there, the tiefling lady. He knew my name when he was sent his minions after me, so it makes me think this wasn't some random group of thugs. That he was trying to either bring me somewhere against my will, or he seemed quite happy to just kill me as well. And I've never been so important as to merit such attention, if you catch my drift. So I have to imagine that something I did yesterday was upsetting to someone.
You said you visited a mortuary earlier that day?
This is true.
So it sounds like the common thread here is someone within the mortuary. Obviously. Suppose she didn't like you all poking around, huh?
She didn't appear to be upset with our presence there, but she didn't appear to be happy either. She appeared very emotionless. You know,
as they all do.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I know about this nefarious fella. Does any of that make sense to you?
Not particular. I'm very curious whether these are different people or the same. And if they are the same, why would they use the same name? It's very peculiar. I would think that the governor would be more intelligent than that. So you were responsible, or I should say you were involved in the little skirmish that happened last night.
That's true. That was my handiwork there. Again, in self-defense, and I would have stuck around, but I did have to pursue the folks who were running from the scene. Unfortunately, again, I did not catch up with it.
And you say that this figure met his end?
That is true. I did uncover additional intelligence to that end.
I do have a little bit of information for you. Of the bodies that we found, we recognized one of them. He was a poor bubber that had been taken to mortuary not long ago. He was actually a cousin of one of the folks that works here. One of the help. Been taken to mortuary maybe 2 weeks ago, I want to say. Supposedly he had been cremated until we found his body last night on the streets. And we had the body identified, of course, by the relative. And he noticed something strange. He slides this piece of paper over towards you, and it's a sketch. And it looks like 3 wavy lines, like this. So this was tattooed on the side of his left arm. Cousin says he doesn't remember having that before.
What is that symbol, sir?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But it still looks as if his skin was healing from it. So he did not receive it that long ago.
That is curious. I mean, there's a lot of curious things about that, and that's one of them.
Quite.
Well, it seems like someone ought to get more information from the dust folks.
And unfortunately, that's a very slippery slope for us to take. You know how...
Why do you say that?
Well, you know how tight they are with the Doom Guard. And us marching a presence there might cause a bit of a ruckus. Perhaps if you all were to go be a little bit more quiet, and you would have all the rights that I grant you to do what you need to there. Ask any questions you wish. Demand any entrances you wish. As far as I'm concerned, you're above the law in this matter.
I do know some crack people who are who would absolutely be not affiliated with the Harmonium. I can certainly use their skills as well. We can leverage a lot of things there.
He takes a piece of paper and a quill and ink and begins to write upon it. And the details within are pretty much laid out, that you have all the rights of his office granted upon you to do what you need to do to finish your investigation regarding this matter. You have the power that he has within this case itself. So there's no limits, no drawbacks of whatever you need to use to accomplish this. Like I said, you have every power to do so. He signs off on it, rolls it up, and hands it to you.
Thank you, sir. I won't let you down.
I'm sure you will not.
May I either get that symbol or make a copy of it for myself?
He pushes the paper over to you. We can make more. It's not an issue. We still have the body. We're quite reluctant to release it back into the Dustman's possession at this time, given the circumstances.
That makes sense to me, sir.
Is there anything else that I can assist you with in your investigation or beyond?
I don't believe so, sir.
He opens a drawer next to him on the table he has and withdraws a small sack and slides it over towards you. This is for you and your companions in case you might need them. Some small healing salves.
Thank you, sir.
And if there's anything else you need from us, let us know.
I will absolutely do that.
He sort of gives you the salute and yeah, the handshake kind of deal, and releases you.
And I jog back to Ilya's den.
Back to the party center. Okay, what's going on there? You guys still just staring off into space and playing and cleaning?
Colias has definitely moved on to practicing her scales and warming up for the day.
Arphef is kind of peering down the hole in the floor to see what lies beneath, if you can even see down at the bottom.
Be careful. You stare at the abyss, it'll stare back.
I used a Nietzsche quote. I'm proud of you. What is below this? Is it?
It's just dirt. There's some planks sticking out of the ground. It was obvious that something happened here. There was some collateral damage, and the building itself was beyond repair at that point. And so nobody actually, it was more like a foreclosure than it was, it's owned by the takers, technically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, then seeing nothing of interest, Arphef would kind of just bide his time until Kahareth returns.
Is that the same for you, Colias?
Sorry, I was reading something and temporarily did not hear you in one ear out the other. Pardon, what was that?
I was just asking if you were just doing nothing until Kahareth returned, or...
Is Ilya done meditating or?
Oh yeah, she's turned around. She's got her earphones. She's still in the pose. She's still in the pose, and she's facing everybody else, and she's looking at the door. It's like a
Oh, okay.
subdued version of what she was doing before.
All right. Ilya's gonna brain. Whoa. Colias is gonna spend her time trying to make Ilya laugh, just doing the stupidest crap while Ilya's in this very serious state of kind of watching the door. She's just gonna joke around and try to make Ilya laugh. I guess that would be a performance role.
Sure.
Okay.
As you're doing this, I'm going to attempt to chime in and help as well, and cast guidance to help to aid you in this.
There you go.
Yes. All right. I have rolled a 14.
Okay. You can add a d4 to that with your guidance check.
Yep.
Awesome. So that dropping things. That is a 14 plus 4.
Ooh, 18.
18.
Ilya, what is your frame of mind exactly right now?
Let's see. It's like after meditating, it's kind of like coming out of a cave when you've been in there for a very long time. So you're kind of I don't think that empty-headed is the correct word, but there's a little bit of a disorientation associated with it.
Okay. So my question is, how receptive would Ilya be to these advances, I wonder?
It would be kind of a tired coming on to what they're trying to do, because it's not like she's against fun or anything.
Right.
She's just weird.
Gotcha. I would say between the two of you, you eventually do slowly see the shell of Ilya begin to soften. It does take a while. I would say the Colias, you probably haven't seen Ilya this focused for some time. At least even I, as a DM, can see that Ilya's actions seem to be a lot more sharpened. Like she's got a lot of purpose to what she's doing right now. But you finally start to see that, like I said, the shell softens, the smile. It's not like it's a booming laugh and ha kind of shit, but it's a smile. You got your elicited response, but you can tell that there's probably more behind that. That's sort of giving her pause. And I would say that the two of you, knowing each other as long as you have, you're probably at least been familiar with that a few times. She's in the zone, in a sense. So, Kahareth, you've returned.
Would or could I have taken any route that would have taken me past a clothier or any type of market that would sell clothes?
I'm sure you could definitely make your way towards one if you wish to do so.
Then I try to pop in and see if I can find a dress in the style and size that Colias is wearing, to see if there's anything that could replace the bird one.
Sure. Because I think that Colias, you probably had you had a decent set of clothes, correct?
It would have been mostly decent. It probably would have changed over time, especially since coming to Sigil.
Right. I know that you're an entertainer, and you probably have had some degree of like standards, even to this point.
Absolutely.
So while you don't find especially within the hive ward itself, like super fine, pristine clothes, you find something that would be equally replaceable for her, and it would run a couple coppers. It's nothing too expensive.
Well, then I conduct that transaction and I book it to Ilias.
Okay.
And I arrive and I say, good, everyone's awake. And I tell them everything that just happened.
Okay.
To save time.
Excellent.
So I think we should go back up to the dust people and have a word with them. What do you guys think?
Can I see that piece of paper?
Oh, the symbol? Sure.
Yeah. Do I recognize this?
Give me a history check, and I want that at disadvantage.
Okay.
Because it is not well
A 2.
known. A 2? With your 2, you don't recognize it as being at least something local. It doesn't represent any sort of sub-faction or group that you know of within Sigil proper.
I wanted to see if I could get it, but I do have an idea myself. This looks an awfully lot like the representation of a plane. The universal squiggly marks and whatnots that everybody's it's all part of the wheel. But I don't recognize this one. You know how Bator is like a circle with 3 things coming out of it? And
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, actually, to see how close it is.
Elysium is the rainbows.
Yeah, Elysium is the rainbows. Bator. Oh, that's an old one. Why am I only finding old pictures? Okay. Yeah, it's not quite the same. Honestly, if you liken it to anything, and even with your low roll, I'll give this to you. It may be something more representative when you were... I would say you've probably been to the City of Brass before.
Yes! Friggin' Fifth Element is
So
definitely
you would,
reminiscent there.
even with your role, you think, well, it looks like something that would probably be more representative of the Plane of Fire.
Yeah, but I don't know if it would, like, totally, but also it could be the Black Tree's place, you know? I don't know that one's symbol either. They're not, the elemental planes tend not to be on any of the typical maps. They don't have symbols, they just are elements, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows which direction they are, everything.
Right.
But yeah. Okay, so maybe fire, maybe something else. But it definitely looks like a planar symbol to me.
And now the other paper you've got, Kahareth, that gives you some kind of power within the city to investigate this situation. Is that right?
As I understand it, my superior has given me extra authority should I need to draw upon it.
Well, knowing that the Duskmen and Tirana specifically doesn't like the harmonium, is there any harm in using that paper, that leverage, to bring more of the harmonium with us? Show of strength, put some pressure on them, make her feel unsafe, perhaps cause her to make a brash movement that we can track or anything.
That makes a lot of sense. However, my superior is concerned about the political ramifications of a large body of harmonium moving into the Dustmen and their allied bleakers. So we want to try to avoid that.
Poncho as it is. Very good.
Well, she already knows who I am, so but yeah, certainly discretion. That's what we are. Discreet.
That's the word I'm learning.
Zarg,
Speaking of
very
ponchos.
clearly. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Colias, I found this outfit. It looked like your size. I hope you like it.
Colias is gonna very sort of disbelievingly kind of like examine it. How I want to check it for a magical enchantment. I don't trust.
Okay. I don't think I even want to make you really roll for that. If you're gonna take the time to sit there and pore over it, you don't sense anything from it. There doesn't seem to be any vibrations of any sort of arcane residue upon it. Seems like a dress. Nothing more.
Since she's looking very focused and critical at it, I'm thinking that she hates it. I'm not very good at this.
Colias will just kind of she was like in the middle of reaching her hands out, kind of like on the way. It's a strange coaxing situation. And she's kind of looking at you, between you and the dress, and not sort of in a state of like disbelief of like, who would do this? Who would do this? So she just kind of like takes it in her little fists and is like, gee, thanks. You know,
If you don't like it, I can get a different one. I don't have experience with this sort of thing. I apologize.
She kind of is like, as long as it's not going to combust on me, I think it'll be fine.
The salesperson did not tell me it had that feature, so I do not believe it will do that.
That gets a chuckle out of Colias. Salesmen did not tell me it had that feature. What is this, a car? Yeah, so she just kind of is like, no, thank you, and kind of takes it. She's very sort of like not trusting this situation, but she takes it anyway.
So do you guys want to head back up there, or did you want to try and look at something else? Or do you want to wait for Tabitha to wake up and see what she thinks?
I was thinking about it real hard, and I could be completely barmy with this, but I'm starting to think maybe it could be time soon to bring Shiveshka into this. I know, but this is the kind of valuable information that she would take as a payment.
What information do you think we have?
The symbol combined with the sensory orb, if she doesn't already know it.
Well, if she does know it, then we're in a place that I'd rather not be, with very little leverage.
Yeah, that's kind of the gamble when you go see her. Yeah, you don't know. We've gotten to this stuff real fast though. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I mean, no bad ideas at this stage. We're just brainstorming. So that's an idea. Great. Going to the Dustman. That's another idea. Any other ideas anyone wants to put forward?
Could check in with Eliath again before we head to the Duskman, just see if there's anything a more private and less abrupt conversation could unearth before we go there. But otherwise, it seems like we do have a mandate from your superiors, and I know nothing of this Shemeska, so I won't comment on the value of approaching them with what we have.
And I guess I will reiterate that this, getting into the bottom of this stuff is really certainly a thing that I'm interested in. I know you all have a contract with Getramath and I appreciate you giving me a little bit more time to chat with Eliath. So maybe if I could do that first, then you all could complete your contract, and then if you want to help, I certainly would appreciate the help. But I'm not gonna force you into these dangerous situations. And I look at Colias, and then look at everyone else.
I'm in no rush to get paid. I've got enough of these common coppers to last me in the city. So I'm here to aid you in your investigations.
I think it's important to think about what sort of what risk sort of outweighs the reward sort of happening, because the Dustmen were wanting us to go to them and they were probably going to kill us when we got there, but yet now we're going to the Dustmen all on our own. Just a thought. You know,
that's a very sensible thought.
I guess if you want, you can just stay near me, and we'll stay near a window, and then you can climb on my back, and then we can get the hell out of there.
Oh, there we go. With a plan. Going in there with a plan. Instead of being led in there to our death. That sounds a lot easier than what would have happened before.
All right. So we've got chat with Eliath, chat with the Dustman, chat with Shmeska. Any other ideas? Tabitha's being real quiet. I'm sure she's thinking of something real hard, and we'll get that idea from her shortly.
I guess in her groggy state, she sits up. We still haven't been paid by Getramath, you know.
All right. Well, then in that case, yeah. Look, I say that we go to Eliath first. This seems to be the least dangerous of the three options we have, and potentially the most rewarding, if we can then either convince him to have a chat with our barrier friend, or just tell him where that fella's at.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So we headed back to the Black Sail. Okay.
And I will don my poncho.
Poncho donned. All right. So we'll head back towards the inn. We've got some songs here, I'm sure. So you all walk back, entering the Black Sail Inn once again and all of its lovely furnishings. You know that Eliath had said that if you were going to contact him to do so discreetly, so I suppose a little note to the innkeep or to the young halfling lady would probably suffice in either case that you want to do that. For the sake of time, we'll say that you have managed to wrangle him down from his sleeping quarters upstairs. Where would you like to take this conversation to? Here? To Getramath's? What?
Well, as we were walking to this place, I would have mentioned I could have a chat with him in my head. That would be very discreet. But if you all want, because I can't put you in that conversation, so if you have other questions, that would not be the most ideal. Should we try to get into his room, or invite him elsewhere? I mean, I joke about the discretion. I presume one of you are more skilled at that than I.
Well, I remember that Getramath had a personal portal, so that is very ideal for sensitive information, but it is also a long way away.
No.
It's up to Eliath if he's willing to go, I guess.
Well, then maybe I can just extend him an invitation to meet us at the Butcher's
Block.
Butcher's Block.
Block.
Yes. Okay. Unless there's anything you guys want to do between the 2 points, I can just go ahead and take us to that part of the story. Because I don't think there's really any events that are going to happen between this time and then that's really going to stop anything. You go back to the butcher's block. Once again, met by the lovely ogre who bartends this establishment. Who is just cursing and swearing with every other word as he goes about his job duties. And it takes some time, but you finally see Eliath enter. Not in the full gear that he would normally be wearing with the Doom Guard. Sort of much like Kahareth, he sort of hid his features away in this large cloak. Looking around the room, finally spotting you all, and starts to make his way towards you. Well, I'm here. What did you need? Why did you call me here?
This is Eliath.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to confirm. I just, if we're all at a table, is it?
Yes, right now you are currently all at the table.
Thank you so much for meeting us again. Eliath, I thought this would be, or we thought this would be more discreet than your where we were before. A lot of folks have been passing away in the city of doors here, and it's kind of mysterious, the circumstances of their passing. And it seems like you might have shared that event, and I was curious what you recall of it, because we sure would like to get to the bottom of what is behind these events.
Okay. You guys are having this conversation in the main tavern room. Is that correct?
That is not what I advised, for the record.
That's why I was asking before we went further with this. So.
That is what I am doing, yes.
Okay. Are you speaking like mind link to him right now, or just out and loud?
Out in the open.
Okay. Okay. He leans back a little bit, putting a hand on the table and tapping it with his fingers as if in thought. The last thing that comes to my recollection, I was in the alley, and I suddenly felt very tired. And I heard the scraping of feet, and I couldn't feel anything. My muscles would not move. It almost felt as if the blood wasn't beating in my heart. And the blackness came upon me. Next thing I knew, I was sitting before Lathander.
Were there any people that you recall when you were passing into that numbness?
I'm going to roll an insight check for Eliath for recollection's sake. And rolled a good roll. Okay. He says, I suppose before my vision faded, there was... He struggles with the words as if he's trying to think of the images that come forth from a past life. Some sort of half-elven man was standing over top of me. His lips were moving, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. And then I was drug off, that's right.
I describe the spellcaster from the previous evening. And does he look like that?
There is a spark of recognition in his eyes. He slowly nods. Sounds quite similar, yes.
Were there any names that you can remember hearing? And then in my mind, I say, does the name Devarius mean anything to you?
Roll insight for him. He says to you through your mind link that I do not recall a Devarius. Just a man they called the Shadow Knave.
I go on.
That's what the other men that were with him were calling him. I'm not familiar with the name beyond that.
I look at Colias, Ilya, and Tabitha, and I said, and in turn, I say, do you know anything about the Shadow Knave? Do you know anything about the Shadow Knave? Do you know anything about the Shadow Knave? I assume Arphef doesn't, so I don't mention him.
Most likely not Arphef, no. I guess we'll have Colias and Ilya and Tabitha. We'll do some history checks or survival checks. I think that'd be appropriate in this cityscape. Tabitha doesn't know shit, I'll tell you that right now. That was a bad
Got
roll.
a 17.
17.
24.
Damn, both of you rolled well. The Shadow Knave. Sounds familiar. You know that there has been someone who's been running around for some time now, probably the last few months, who has gone by the moniker. And you know he's gone by the moniker because for some reason he's been very afraid to use his real name out in the streets. So there's definitely no real name attached to it, at least not that you can place to. But you know that the Shadow Knave has been responsible for several murders, thefts, pretty much any crime that you can think of. The Shadow Knave has most likely performed. Been very elusive, never been caught. Never left enough evidence behind to even trail him. It's been more almost a myth at this point than an actual person.
Yes, dude's legend.
All right. Well then, so that I don't think I have any more. Oh wait. And I know my friends did ask you about it, but we do have someone who is interested in the Isle of Black Trees. Can you tell me about that?
Long, long breath escapes his lips. And Kahareth, you see for the first time what Ilya and Colias and Arphef had seen just outside of the Black Sail Inn. The color beginning to drain from his face a bit as he begins to sit back, and as a flood of memories envelop him. I spent years of my life looking for that place. And they said it was just full of wealth, power. Nothing there but nightmares.
would, if someone wanted to return there, despite its horrific legend, would you know how to direct someone to get there?
He shakes his head, and I'm not even going to make you all roll for this. You can tell that he knows. He's very hesitant to say anything about it, but he looks like he's just refusing the answer entirely. And that's the general reaction that you get from him.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Well, let me put it another way. There is someone who is interested in following in your footsteps. And it's come to my attention that they have paid to get this information. That it would be obtaining you and getting that information out of you one way or another. I fear for your safety. And if you could tell me that, then I could find this person who wants this information and just give them the information so they wouldn't be interested in you anymore.
I used to have an old. He tries to strain to think about it. In the ladies' ward, there was an old apartment I had there. There was a key, the key to get into one of the portals there. It was a sanctioned off demi-plane that I'd created. I hid the book there. I'm reluctant to give you this information. There's, as I said, nothing but nightmares behind all that. Is this person threatening you?
They are not. However, I am led to believe that you have come to lead a more fulfilling life. And I would hate for any ghosts from your past to come up and ruin that. And so if you would give me the information, then I could see to your safety that your past would not come back to haunt you like that.
He says,
Can you really? Is this in their mind?
No,
Can you really promise that?
I am.
Yeah. Okay.
the only problem is I am that key. I would have to be there for the portal to open. And that's why no one has found it since.
And so, are you able to, as a key does, just open the door and the people using the key can walk through the door? Or do you have to go with the people who are going through the door?
I would have to be there to open the gateway. I do not have to pass through it beyond that point. It would lead off to my old laboratory. When I started here in Sigil so long ago.
Okay, so you're the key because you made it.
Exactly. And it was the best way to safeguard it.
I have heard before that there are ways to open things like that, because that's not an uncommon method, where you can use parts of yourself instead. And I'm not saying like a limb or something, but maybe like some blood over an elongated period of time or something. I'm just spitballing. Trying to separate you from this situation.
It would have to be blood freshly spilt from my own hand. I would have to be there.
I tried.
All right. Well, then this is my counsel. Yeah, I know you didn't ask for it, but I would recommend that you meet with this person who is so interested in meeting with you. Otherwise, they could become more insistent. You just face this head on, and I'll be with you to ensure your safety. Should they wish to, I'm sure all they want to do is walk through. So if you know how to do it, and all you have to do is open the door, I will ensure that you do not come to harm. What do you say to that?
I suppose I couldn't ask for more in the situation, though. I could easily slip back off to the Doom Guard and hide away. He hasn't found me for how long now, right? Took you all to discover me. I'm sure he's been looking for me for a while if he's that obsessed with it.
Well, as I understand it, as people get more desperate, you know, desperation calls for more desperate measures. The way I see it, me becoming aware of it is the best case scenario. I can't speak to what would come next.
Fine. We will go speak to this contact of yours and figure out what he wants from this.
All right. Well, you sit tight. And then I walk and I go to the back door.
Okay.
And I say a stupid joke.
I should really make you say one, but...
So, in the Mushroom Kingdom, in the land of the Paddywhacks, there's a frog. This frog wants to upgrade his home. You know, he wants to upgrade his lily pad. And so he walks into the bank and he talks to the bank teller and says, "Hello, Mr. Bank Teller, I want to upgrade my home. How can I do that?" I said, "Well, you can take out a line of credit, you know, and do some home improvements. That's a very common thing." I said, "Okay, that sounds great. I want to do that." He says, "Okay, well, in order to do that, you need some collateral. Do you know what that is?" I said, "Well, yeah, I give you something in exchange." He says, yeah. Okay, well, and then he pulls out of his frog pockets a little toy, a little tiny little elephant. And he says, "Here, this is my collateral." That's... bank teller looks at it. It's like, "I don't know what to do with this. You know, it's not collateral." He's like, "Do you have anything else?" I was like, "Yeah, I only have my good name. My father is Mick Jagger." I said, "Okay, I don't know about all this. So I'll just sit tight. And I'm gonna go talk to my manager." And he grabs the little elephant and he walks back to the bank teller manager. Explains the situation to the manager. And the manager says, "Well, obviously, that's a knick-knack, Paddywhack. Give the frog a loan. His old man's a rolling stone."
Oh my god. Get out.
Oh, wow. That was quite the journey we all just took. And for your efforts, Kahareth, the portal to the pocket dimension blazes to life. A series of sparks as time and space rip before you. And on the other side, you see Gedramath's personal space.
Hey, Gedramath, sorry I didn't know how to knock, as it were. I brought your friend. You want to come out and meet him?
The barrier, without even questioning why you just came as you have, immediately starts to move past you.
All right. Before I'm gonna stand in his way before he moves, and I'll say, "Listen, and I do this in my mind. I understand that you want to get to this Isle of Black Trees. And I understand from Eliath that he is the only one who can get you there. And I have told him that I will ensure his safety. So I will need your agreement that no harm will come to him. As I understand it, he does not need to go through the portal in order to get you there. So I will insist upon this condition.
I don't want him dead, I just want to get there. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear the first time we'd spoken about this. Just need to find him.
I just want to make sure that you're very agreeable and amicable towards this fellow. He is a bit scared of the situation. So I want him to be at ease and never in harm's way. Okay. So please keep that in mind as we speak with him.
Okay. He nods hurriedly. He's like, can we go? Excellent. And he just almost shoves past you. He's so excited to get back to this situation. He, on his little goat-like legs, click across the wooden floor, hurriedly rushes over to Eliath. And Eliath's sort of sitting there very quietly. And you see him rubbing his arm. And the four other people who are standing there see him rubbing his hand across this sigil in his flesh of 4 wavy lines. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end today. I know.
The plot sheet thickens.
So, we have everybody in one place for once. We end with the fact that we know that Eliath has the same mark as the man found dead in the alley. At your own hands, I might add. But what to continue this? In this particular tale in 2 weeks' time? Because we're going to have some people missing. But we'll have something else in store for you then. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and go around this lovely, beautiful group of people here and let them tell you who they are, where you can find them at, and potentially what else they have going on right now.
My name is Casey. Hello. You can find me on social media at KCH, on most things. Twitter, Twitch, what have you. Tomorrow morning, we get back to the grind with Halfway Heroes, found on the Open for Adventure channel, featuring myself, Karl, and Katie Q, who I might note was in the chat earlier today. So,
Hi.
Find us there, and then and Scuzzery as well. Whole gang's here almost. Tomorrow morning at Open for Adventure. You go.
Hi, I'm Karl, and I will also be on that show at that time being 11 Eastern. So that's Open for Adventure on the Twitch. I play a lion man there. And that is all I have to say about that.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. I'm MK. I will not be on that show, but that show's pretty cool, and you guys should definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'll be on that show for a minute.
You can find me at Music Combat on Twitter, or you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/MKisthebest. Right now I'm playing through Outlast. I just recently started Pokemon Sword. That's exciting. And my brother and I every Saturday get together to play Bloodborne together, where he tries to tell me what to do, and then I get angry at the game, and then I yell, and then it's fun.
It's very delightful.
yeah. Casey and Karl usually check me out, so yeah, it's pretty good. If you want to come on by and chat, feel free. Twitch.tv/MKsthebest. I also made the music for our little do intro. So
Right.
those are the things that I do. I have a SoundCloud as well. But that's a lot of information to throw at you, so I'll leave it at that.
And I am Jovar of Celestia, and I am pretty much just found here, occasionally at some conventions here and there, but this is my only kind of streamed game that I do. But I'm on Twitter. I talk about D&D there. I've done a couple of podcasts with Wally DM, but generally just play D&D here on Friday nights.
And I'm Aras Sabad, and I'm a Stitch Witch. And that's all I really know what to say about that. I don't know what she's got going on right now. I couldn't tell you. So, otherwise, who am I? I am Saevrick. I've been your dungeon master. I've been your best friend this evening. But you guys have any special favorite moments from tonight, by any chance?
Cranium Rat.
I mean, you can say I hated all of it, and I'd understand. I'm not going to judge you for that. Cranium
That
Rat?
moment when I died,
That was a good moment for me,
pretty
too.
exciting.
Yeah.
I very much like the combined effort of Colias and Arphef to get me to laugh. That was very endearing.
I was a fan of all of the natural ones that the enemies rolled.
Yeah, I rolled a lot of natural ones today.
Big fan of those.
I'm cursed with dice, so you know. Let's see. What do? I sometimes I stream. Gosh, I've been doing randomizers lately. A lot of retro games, mostly because I can't afford new ones. But no, actually, I really like the randomizers a lot because I like to torture myself. If I'm not torturing other people, I torture myself. It's just the way of things. So you can find me on the same channel here. You can find me on Twitter at Saevrick. And like I said, next week we're going to be missing most of our crew here, but we have some guests coming on. So we're going to still have MK is going to be back next week. Aras will be back next week as well. We'll have guests. Mark from Digital and Dice. He's an awesome dude and has probably the most sexy man voice that I've ever heard in my life. I love you, Mark. He's a good dude. We're going to have the great mustache who's in chat right now. He's awesome, kindest, awesomest dude, loves Open Legend. Just check him out too. I believe he's even running an Open Legend game right now on his own personal Twitch channel, if I remember correctly. I saw some of that last night, so it was pretty cool. We have Ms. Misery, who's going to be on as well. Gosh, who else am I forgetting here? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that the 5 people? I can't remember now. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
WebDM Jim?
Oh, that's right. WebDM Jim is going to be on here. So Jim Davis from WebDM will be on next week to have a little bit of fun with us. So that's going to be a good time. Jim's a good dude. I've known him for a couple years. Yeah, he's just an awesome all-around person. I'm very excited to have him in a game for a change and not like making myself look like a fool on one of his podcasts. So I'm very, very happy about that little switch around. So I'll just make myself look like a fool on stream instead. So it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about everybody that's going to be there, really. Let's see. Great Mustache and Mark gave some character background shit within like less than 24 hours. That was fucking mind-blowing. So it was really, really amazing shit. I think MK can attest to that, how deep and awesome that stuff was. So I'm really excited for next week. And I'm really excited for 2 weeks from now as well. So don't think that I don't love my original crew, because I do. You all my original loves.
Disclaimer.
So, right. So anyway, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Anything else you guys got going on? No? Thanks to Aras, who actually still connected our cameras today while going all the way with Little Red Dot. They had some fun tonight. I'm really happy for them. So, okay. Some of us will see you again next week. I hope the rest of you guys that aren't going to be here have very safe trips and have a great time while you're away. We'll miss you a lot, trust me. So, and we'll miss all you guys in chat. Thanks for all the subs tonight. Wow, it was fucking crazy. And, yeah, I'm done. So we'll see you then.